Hey y'all.
Hey world.
I'm Charles.
And I'm Alvin.
And this is
Tit for Tat.
And this and that.
Welcome.
Yes, happy Sunday. Glad you guys joined us. So Alvin, how's your week been?
It's been pretty eventful. Yeah, how was yours?
It's been eventful for me too. I mean, work and then some things with the car or whatever, but I'm glad, kind of getting that resolved or whatever. So yes, sir.
And then we went and had facials.
Oh yeah, guys, we had facials. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
I know you said you were going with Watt and Tim. Tim is the one that gave us the little coupons. Thank you, Tim and Chad.
Yeah,
we'll be back. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that felt good. That was my first facial, so it felt so good, and his hands felt nice, and he was cute. So.
Yeah, he was cute, and the conversation was nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Conversation. So it was a good experience.
Yeah.
But that was my first facial, and now I've had a facial, and I've had two. What's it called? When they do your feet for your pedicure.
Yeah.
So I wonder what's next. You
need to shave. You need to wax.
Why would I need to do that?
I mean, you said what's next. That's
I don't want to do that. I don't like the bear look. Not on me. I don't even like it on anybody else.
You don't like the what? Oh, bear.
The bear look.
Like
you talking about shaving your pubes?
Shaving. They shave your back. Anywhere there's hair. Anywhere there's a lot of hair that you may not want. A lot of people do it for the summer, especially if they're going to the beach or whatever. Yeah. They like the bear look, but it's not for everybody. Doesn't like
it. Yeah, I know. Tim was saying that you like to get all your little stuff done. You told him you have facials and all that stuff.
I used to. I've been slacked on it or whatever. So the Valentine's Day weekend before we went to the Super Bowl thing. So I went and got my eyebrows shaped. Not arched, but shaped.
Ain't that the same thing?
No. The arch will be like a lady or whatever. So this is the first time I ever did it. I asked him to wax my ears and my nose because I'm. You can, but I'm. I'm starting to get that hair. Whatever. So they did the wax or whatever. And then the nose they did this and I was like, ooh, but it didn't really hurt. But that was my first time doing that. I was like, I could do that again. Yeah. Because sometimes the nose trimmer, ear trimmer doesn't get everything, and the wax doesn't either. But I mean, something. And it was pretty cool. But anyway, so you got people that we take care of ourselves. At least we try.
I'm trying to get into the groove of things. After all these years, I've been slacking or something.
Okay. But, we'll get you out there.
I take care of myself pretty well. I just don't do all the facials and the nails and the feet and stuff. I just do those myself. I get the nail clippers and cut them and think I'm doing a good job. So,
I definitely don't do the nails because I don't.
You bite them?
Mm-hmm. I don't bite them, but I don't like nails. And I don't like to get my nails done.
Oh, okay.
But
that hurt. I mean, that hurts a little bit when they was clipping my feet or whatever, my toenails
really?
or something.
Probably because
But I remember me and Larry when we went with the guy. He was, how they put the little stones on there, and I think we had got the citrus fruit and all that stuff.
Okay,
It's for the antioxidant or whatever. Yeah. And he was doing it, and he was like, "Oh, nice feet," and then and he was like, "Oh," and he did that little scrapey thing, and nothing was really coming off. And he was like, "Oh, that's good." He was like, "Oh, no need. You got nice feet in good shape, whatever it is." So he started rubbing and stuff, and next thing you know, he was going up into my thighs. And Larry turned around and looked, and I was like, and the guy was like, "Ooh, you like?" I was like, "Oh my god." Oh my god.
Yeah, some of them are like that. They come way up here to be like, wait a minute.
But my feet felt really good after that too. So maybe I'll do something like that again. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go together. I went with Tim last night. It was cool.
So our topic today. This has gone viral all over TikTok, all over YouTube. I think it's gone viral all over the world. Yeah. Actually, I think everybody's watching this video and giving their opinions and talking about Reesa Teesa. Her video is called "Who the Fuck Did I Marry?" You sent it to me, and said, "Oh, I think you this, you would be interested in this and kind of maybe applies to some stuff that has gone on in your life. And so I watched it. I watched the whole series. I actually posted it on our page.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on our page. You haven't seen it yet? Okay. Well, I posted the full series on our page. I took it off of
for those that need a point of reference.
Right. Yeah. I took it off of Messy Stories. Thank you, Messy Stories.
Yeah.
Because she had the full video there, and so I put it on our page for for people to maybe watch if they would like to watch the whole thing. Yeah. There was like 52 sections or parts or whatever, and it was quite something.
Yeah.
And it was real.
Yeah.
Lifetime
movie.
But yeah, I have it on our page, and it's under playlist, and then click on videos, and it'll take you to our videos, and it might be maybe the 5th or 6th video down. I'm not for sure.
Yeah.
But go check that out if you like. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up, and we're just going to listen to a little bit of what she said, maybe a couple of minutes, and then we'll get into our discussion and we'll give our opinions. And again, these are just our opinions. So, we may, some of us may have gone through this, and some of us may have not. But
similar.
Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this up, and then
get your drinks, y'all, because this is so drama filled.
It's very drama filled.
Yeah.
And it kind of broke my heart because I've been through this a few times, I guess. And I got to do better. I have to do better myself. So
hi and welcome. We all know why you're here. You're here for part of the new series that I'm calling Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I'm going to create this playlist series, and I'm going to tell the story of how I met, dated, married, and divorced a real pathological liar. This is my introduction / disclaimer video. First and foremost, I'm going to be truthful, even if it makes me look bad. I'm going to be honest, but I'm also not going to be disrespectful to anyone that was involved. I'm not going to use people's real names because I don't have their permission to do so. And the sister does not want any sort of litigation. I will tell you off the top, I have a sense of humor and I have sarcasm. So things that you see me laughing at, none of this is funny. But in order to get through it, I have to laugh.
Or cry.
If I cry, I cry. I'm human. I'm a woman. This was traumatic. I'm going to do the best I can to upload as much of the story as I can, because I know people get so annoyed with the follow for part 4, follow me for part 17. I'm just going to do the best I can to keep uploading the videos each at a time. I'm going to go in order from the time we met until the time I got our divorce decree in the mail. So that is a lot of time to cover. Please give me the grace to just get it out. It may not be all in one day. It may not be all in 2 days. But what I can tell you is even if you don't necessarily see a video, I'm probably recording it and then I will upload it into the playlist titled, Who the Fuck Did I Marry? What else do I need to cover ahead of time? Because I feel like this video is important to give some sort of context. So that way when people jump into the series, they kind of can figure out, oh, let me start at the introduction video and then work my way through. A lot of the questions that you all have sent me will be answered when I start and tell the story in order. Everything I'm going to tell you can be verified. There are people in my life who can easily verify, yes, this did happen. Yes, he really did do that. Yes, he said that. Yes, she did go through that. I have no contact whatsoever with my ex-husband. in any way, shape, or form. We do not communicate. We do not have mutual friends or anything where we communicate through those people. No contact. I cannot stress that enough because I feel like somebody's going to ask me, do you still talk to him? No. I ain't seen him.
Right.
I ain't heard from him. I don't want to hear from him. And I will tell the entire story up until the last time I did hear from him and what happened. Yeah, this is my story. So
Right. So
And that speaks volumes right there. To say that you went through psychology and you still didn't, because you just overlook sometimes, and sometimes we think with our heart, our hearts and not our brains. Clearly, this man showed, signs.
right. He the thing of it is he's actually I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, so I can't diagnose him or whatever, but he has all the characteristics, the traits. He has the behavior of a, I would call him probably a covert narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I can't diagnose him. But after being in, some of these type of relationships, it's he's a narcissist. To me, he's a narcissist.
It's clear,
right? To me, it's clear,
mm-hmm.
and to her, it's clear too, because she calls him that throughout there. And I've listened to a few web stuff, and the psychiatrists and the actual narcissists are saying he's a narcissist.
He is. Yeah.
He's a narcissist.
Yeah.
And narcissists, they are pathological liars.
Mm-hmm.
Not all, but most are serial cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to cheat, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand, usually the covert narcissists don't, they may not cheat, but they do.
They do.
More of the overt, the overt grandiose type narcissists, passive aggressive type cheat. So let's go ahead and get into this discussion. I already told you, first I didn't want to do this discussion because I told you it's going to be a little hard on me. But I'm going to try to get through it. So what I'm going to do is, we'll talk about her, and then, and then I'll probably just pop up a few, things about narcissism across the screen, and people can, comment, like, share, comment, and I don't know how deep I can get into it, whatever. I'm still going through therapy with it for myself. So, but I'll put it, I'll put just little maybe quotes or something, some definitions across the screen, and and then we can talk a little bit about it, but I'm still not ready to, go into, this, and I probably never will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll just do this little part right here. So anyway, let's go get into this this topic here. So her name, it's not a real name, but she calls herself Reesa Teesa on TikTok.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this? I mean, what was your first impression because you sent it to me?
Right, because it was trending. So it was trending on Facebook. I saw a lot of my friends on Facebook, reacting to it and giving their reactions and opinions on it or whatever. And some of it it was intriguing because I would see all this. Did y'all see part 2? And I'm on part 5, and I'm like, what are they talking about? So I'm like, what is every? And it was not just one person; it was a few people. I'm on part 6, and I'm on part this, and I can't believe this. And I'm like, what are they? So I just went in the comments or whatever to try to see what is everybody talking about. So it led me to her TikTok show or whatever, and there were some hashtags or whatever, pathological liar, narcissist, and all this kind of stuff. And so I knew that that was a subject you had really been dwelling in. Oh, how do you say it? Dealing with or whatever. You were really, I know you were really you were really studying it or whatever. And I was like, well, this may be something Alvin may be interested in. So I sent it to you. I was not gonna look at it because I'm like 52 videos. I was like, I'll just wait to hear what everybody else saying. And then it's TikTok, and it's like, and it seemed like it was so long, but I guess they give you 10 minutes, so it's not that long if you can take the time to do it or whatever. So I sent it to you, and I thought you may whatever. And then we always think about what we're gonna talk about next. And so Alvin sent me a text about what we're going to talk about. And I think we said a few things last week, but then when you sent it to me, I knew that this was really going viral. So I was like, you know what? Why don't we do that narcissism show? Because it will relate with this, what's going on or whatever. And I guess you were like, okay, well, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, remember at first I said, no, I'm not ready to talk about it yet. But then after I thought about it and actually slept on it, and actually what I had to do was I had to actually watch it. And I was up until, it captivated my attention, because I was like, oh my God, it was the same, not the exact same stuff. There was some stuff that did not happen, with me, but it followed the same pattern. And some of the stuff was exactly the same. And the drama that I was going through with it, and how she ignored the red flags. I ignored the red flags, even though I would see the red flags happening right in front of me, and I knew it, and I chose to ignore it because you tend to want your relationship to work once you get into it. I actually saw a couple of the relationships, I saw the red flags, and then just push them back like that doesn't matter, or that doesn't. I knew it was a lie, or I knew it was, fabricated, or I knew it was, where they, it could be the truth, but it's stretched, or whatever. So in all the relationships, I kind of knew that. Whatever, but I chose to overlook it or whatever because some of it that didn't matter to me, but it kind of should, because it actually, once it lures you into those type of relationships, and you get lured in, and then you actually fall in love with the person, and then you actually really start overlooking all the red flags, just to keep the commotion down, or the rage, or the arguments, or the silent treatments, so all of that starts playing out in these type of relationships. You really do know about the cheating, but you tend to overlook it because you think you don't have the proof. The proof always comes. If it doesn't come sooner, it comes later. But you do know. Your body and your mind tells you. God sends you these little signals about. Whatever, something's not right. And we overlook them. We don't listen to them. And then the boulder comes, and by that time you're so invested in the relationship, you don't want your relationship to end. And so you start making excuses for it and saying, well, no, it's going to get better. You're kind of dwelling on when you had the happy times, and when you and the love, through that.
It's not all bad.
And it's not all bad, and that's what you dwell on is the good times, but the bad times can be traumatic, So anyway, when I started watching it, and I have empathy for her. I do have empathy for her. Some of it, I do think that she should have gotten out of this right away. You know, I mean, maybe not right away, but she put herself into, you know, me and you have different views on it a little bit, but I think she saw money signs, you know, the dollar signs. I think she probably saw a little bit of greed or something that that made her pursue this type of relationship when she was actually recognizing some of the warning signs early on, you know. And then sometimes when you want a relationship or you want to be in a relationship, and like you said, you thought she was lonely and stuff, and I'll let you speak on that. Yeah. But go ahead and
okay,
let's
so
get into it.
So when Alvin watched it and said that's what the show was going to be about, I said, oh, well, I need to start watching then. So, I can have feedback, an opinion, and be able to speak on it on the show. So when I first started watching it, I was just like, this girl is an idiot. I mean, like, really, I just felt like she is stupid. Because she starts out saying, we met on Hinge and Facebook. I get the point that you can have one because Facebook really is who you really are in a way. Because you have, use your real name, you're connected with family or whatever. Hinge can be a little different because you're coming in maybe as, because you don't want to give all that to the whole world like that or whatever. So some people have nicknames like, whatever. Big whatever, and go ahead and you just make up a nickname or whatever on the apps or whatever. But they didn't realize that I think he said he may have realized that it was her or whatever, because I think he said something like, it's funny that you don't remember that we actually connected or we matched on this on Hinge or whatever. She said that. Okay, so he didn't remember. Okay. So yeah, so they're on the apps and they're also on Facebook dating, and they matched. And so they decide to go ahead and go on a date. Okay, so the date comes, and then she's on her way to meet him, and she has a flat or a blowout or whatever. And she calls him to tell him, hey, I'm gonna be late or whatever because I have a flat or whatever. He comes to rescue her, and to a lady that says a lot, or to anyone. And I thought, if I was in a situation, if I don't have a family, and it depends on what time it could be. My family might not be readily available to come assist me. I know they will, but I might not want to bother them. And then or a friend or whatever. So to have this stranger that I don't even know to come and assist me with this, because he could have just said, oh, I'm sorry, well, let me know when you work that out or whatever. He, came over, changed the tire, and then even took her to a place to get a tire, and he paid for it or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's like, okay, I think I got somebody that really is concerned and cares about, me, and he doesn't really know me. And he did this act, which was, I think was honorable. Because he could have just left her out there. You know what I mean? I don't know this girl. And this could have it should have been a sign to, well, it's not really however you want to take it. You could have took it like, okay, if I'm getting a flat on this date, maybe I shouldn't even be dating. And he could have took it, well, if this girl can't even make it, maybe she's not the one either. So they both could have took it like, maybe this is not going to work. But it seemed like they were still, even though that happened, they were still trying to make this work. So then they go on their date to Cheesecake Factory or whatever, and they have their conversation. They talk about a lot or whatever. So in this little time or whatever, and I'm speeding forward or whatever, they decide eventually to move in with each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks. So I'm like, okay, she's crazy. Because I'm like, for real. Because I would not do that. I don't even know this man. Or whatever, and I'm about to move in with him. And so he is relocated to are they in Atlanta? I think so. Yeah, they're in Atlanta. That he's relocated because of his job. So he doesn't really have a place to stay. He's staying at some little whatever. She has a townhome. So they discuss so COVID is here. This is like in 2020, whatever. COVID is here. Where are we gonna stay? you know, because we want to continue this and get to know each other. Let's cohabitate or whatever. So they're deciding whose house they're gonna. Well, she has a house, so let's move. You know, let's stay in your house or whatever. But then when you know, so did she know he was a VP then?
No, he started telling her within that time frame.
So she didn't know on the date.
She didn't. He started telling her on the date.
So okay, so the date came. So the date so by the date she knew he was a VP. My thing is, when COVID comes and we're talking about a place to stay, if you're a VP, why we need to stay in my house? Let's stay in something nice, you know, whatever. So to me, that would have been a flag too. Like, why you want to come stay with me? I mean, you know, this is probably below what you're used to if you're this VP or whatever. But anyway, so you talked about how we have a little difference or whatever. I guess the difference that I had from Alvin is that I didn't really think that money was an issue at first. I felt like this is a lady, and I guess I can say this now because the video that you sent me with this other lady, she went hard.
She went hard on.
Yeah. She was heavy set lady. Which to me, it didn't really matter, but I did notice that after the lady said that. She was kind of, you know, she was heavy set. She's probably a lady of a certain age, you know, getting older. You can tell that she's a romantic, I guess, you know, by some of the things she was saying. And I felt like she was just at a point where I want to find that one, because they said, is this going to be dating just, you know, dating, or we're dating to get married? And they both decided that this is going to be dating to get married. So I think that was just like, ooh, yeah. So I feel like she was at a point where I want to settle down. I want to have kids. I want to have the house. I want to be married. Felt like she was lonely. That's the reason why she decided, let's cohabitate, you know, because, you know, I'm lonely or whatever. And in one of the videos, she does say, you know, one of the reasons why, you know, they went through all this is because she felt lonely. She put up with it because she didn't want to feel embarrassed, and she wanted to get married. She wanted to be married. So for a lady, to me, and I've heard this from married people, and I've also, you know, been around ladies or whatever. Security is a big thing for them. They want to feel secure or whatever. And they want to know that they can, you know, depend on you. I feel like he was showing her signs that she could depend on him. Not that I need that, because I'm okay. You know, I got a house, I got a car, I'm good. I don't really need you for anything, but I do want to get married. And if I get married, I do want to know that you can take care of me. You can, you know, it's almost like, you know, when you get married and the daddy walks his daughter down the aisle, he gives her away. Your father is not going to give you away to someone that he doesn't think is going to be able to do what he's been doing and even more. Because the dad has been taking care of you. The dad has been clothing, you know, all this kind of stuff that a father does. He's given his daughter over to someone that should be able to do that and even more, you know, whatever. So I think for a lady, that's what they want to know. And for him to come out and say, I'm this and I have the money and all this, I don't think it was like, ooh, dollar signs. I think it was like, I have a man that's going to be able to give me that security that, you know, that my father was able to do, or whatever, you know, that the husband should do. I mean, I can do it on my own, but I think it didn't hurt that he was able to do this or whatever, and he offered to do all this stuff or whatever. It wasn't, to me, I didn't feel like she asked for it. He offered, I'll pay the bills, I'll do this, I'll do that or whatever. So I don't think it was about money, but I think the money kept her there and she overlooked most of the stuff, because all these lies he's saying, I would have been gone. But because of maybe the money, it was like, well, I'm gonna kind of stay with him, you know? So that's what I felt. I mean, so far, but you can and we'll go from there.
I initially, I'm gonna say it again. I had empathy for her. I felt for her because I've been through a lot of that same stuff before, and I knew exactly what was happening with her. I knew exactly. I believe her 100%. I knew when everything she was talking about, it's 100% the truth. You know, I felt it, and I knew exactly what she was going through and what she was talking about. But I initially believed, and I still believe, that it was the dollar signs that motivated her. You know, she did say he was good looking. She thought he was good looking and looked like his profile and stuff, you know, like that.
Yeah.
But as he was talking to her on the date and saying, you know, I have 700,000 or so in offshore accounts or something like that. He's a VP of the company. Just her language of wow, you know, and then she says how that, you know, that kind of drew her in, you know, and impressed her. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And you know, she said that, and that, you know, that kind of lured her in. And I do think that there was the loneliness involved. You know, she wanted to date, she wanted to marry, she wanted to have a child. You know, so probably all of that was circulating through her mind, and those dollar signs and stuff. So she, you know, I think she had ulterior motives. You know, she did probably like him on the date and stuff, you know, like that. But to move in with somebody after 2 weeks, COVID is not the excuse. Okay, we did not know enough about COVID at that time for us to even be, you know, everybody was isolating themselves. You know, I know some people wasn't following those rules and stuff, you know, like that. I did. Yeah. Okay. But because we didn't know enough about it, like if you go here or do that, if it was going to take you out of here, because it was taking so many people out. So something was going in her brain where she was not really thinking clearly, you know, to this or whatever. Because she could have, when they moved in together, she could have ended up dead or really sick or something, or him, you know, didn't know whether either one of them had it. You know what I'm saying? That was a red flag. That was for her to do that. You know, I don't think she was an idiot, or I don't think she was stupid or anything like that. You know, but I don't think she was naive. I think she had ulterior motives, and she wanted to, you know, because he had mentioned marriage and stuff on their date, but that's not what they were thinking about at that time. You know, but I think she was thinking of money signs, and that's what drew her into it, and that's what kept her in it, you know, until she couldn't take it no more, till it got so bad that she couldn't take it no more. Because throughout these videos, she's still going on talking about money and what, you know, and I saw it, and he has this and stuff, you know, like that. She was totally overlooking every lie. She was not confronting him. Why was she not confronting him? I think, you know, because she still believed that he had this type of money, and she was going to get that house, get the child, get this stuff, you know. So I don't wish that type of relationship on anybody, but you know, he drew her in, and she pulled the rope and pulled herself into it, you know, to me, for ulterior motives. And he's definitely got those narcissistic characteristics and traits, and he was showing them. All that bragging that he was doing in the beginning, that was, and feeding her all this over grandiose stuff or whatever stuff. He was love bombing her. You know, I don't know whether she has been in any toxic relationship or anything like that before, but that's what that's called. You know, that's a love bombing phase, and that's how they draw you in. You know, and if you don't know about that type of stuff, you just kind of really think it's just a regular relationship. You know, like you're getting into a regular relationship, and you know, people tell their little tales or the little white lies, you know, or whatever, or you know, fabricate stuff or whatever that you tend to overlook. But they, you know, but they overdo it, you know, and they build themselves up, and then they also build you up and put you on a pedestal that you cannot live up to, you know, or whatever, because you're gonna fall, and when you fall, they're gonna knock you over the head. Okay. But that, what he was doing to her was love bombing her to draw her in, and she, you know, she fell for it like a lot of us do, you know. So But yeah, and I do agree with you that she was probably lonely and really seeking a relationship. But she went, I don't know, 2 weeks. That's just too much for me.
Yeah,
you got to date. You got to date a while
Yeah.
or something, like that, so you can, 2 weeks.
That doesn't make sense at all. That's why I said she was an idiot. Because I'm like, why would you do that?
And talking about marriage in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense to me. There had to be something else there.
Something else, because they met. I think it was in March.
Yeah.
Because I took a note of that, and then in April they were talking about houses,
Mm-hmm.
so they could, move by June or Memorial Day or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's too soon.
Right.
And I remember her saying, like, the theme of our relationship was, I don't know what it is, but there's something.
Right.
So she knew from the beginning that there is something. I don't know exactly what it is. So she was already hunting for it and looking. And it's like, girl, just stop, drop him, leave him.
Right.
And the money thing is like, it's almost like, well, where has he shown you? Where is the proof? Like, it's almost like she was chasing a ghost or a dream or something that wasn't even there. Right. Or whatever, because he hasn't shown you. Yeah, he's telling you this. And then when she said, so there's parts in the whole series where she starts to actually see accounts
early on. She
sees accounts of stuff, but it never, especially the accounts with the shakes or whatever, it never showed his name. It couldn't have, because then she found out, because she does, like, how they do on Cheaters or whatever, how they search and Google to find stuff or whatever. She found out that these were just snapshots that were out there on Google. So that lets you know his name was never on there.
Mm-hmm.
But the amounts were on there. So it shows, oh yeah, I have all this money, but it never shows a name. It never, so it's like, girl, you're just looking at that. And it's, yeah.
Yeah, this was a little bit too much, because she talked about her religion. She talked about her moral code.
Mm-hmm.
That, this was just a little bit too much. She overlooked all of that, threw all of that to the wind when she was saying that she was noticing this wasn't true, or whatever, or whatever. She even comes in there and says that she chose to overlook it.
Yeah.
I chose to overlook it, because he showed me. He showed me. You have to have a little bit more sense than that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to move in with somebody and you're going to get a house, and they're going to pay for a house with cash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Most people cannot do that, and
that was really strange.
Yeah, I just thought within 2 weeks, he's telling her all of this within that 2 week time frame, and then she still goes on with this. She couldn't have been in love with him. That I
don't even see the love.
If it is, then she does have some type of issue herself.
Yes.
If she's in love with him within 2 weeks, and he's already told her this type of stuff, and he's saying this, but he hasn't given any proof, she should have been questioning that stuff, which she says she was, but she was, overlooking it because, wow, 700K,
I would say I don't never date anyone for money. I don't think, but if you told me you made it, I would be wild too. I would, because that's a lot of money. Especially if I'm not making it. I would wild too. But I really think, like the lady said, she probably, because she's overweight or heavyset or whatever, and then she's lonely. I think she just wanted this to be the one. I don't think it was the marriage thing. I think it was the love of being married. I don't think there was any love there. I think the love was to be married. I'm just infatuated with being married, being able to say, oh, I got a husband. I got somebody on my arm. Somebody wants me. You know, this guy, look, he wants me. He's attractive. You know, someone wants me. They want me to be their wife or whatever. I think she fell in love with the idea of being married, getting a house or whatever, and she did things backwards. So most people approach marriage differently, and I don't think there's any. I mean, there probably is a right way, but I mean, people take different ways. Because I do have the church background, there is a thing to where, you know, they say, you know, do the counseling because this is a person you don't know. I mean, well, you should do that anyway, but, you know, they kind of state that, you know, you look at each other's finances because you're about to become a unit. And whatever debts you have, they become my debts. And you know, and whatever I have becomes yours or whatever. Our families are gonna start coming together. So you start, you know, thinking about all that stuff. Where should we live? Do we want to be close to our parents? You know, all that kind of stuff. So instead of doing all that, they get together, and then somewhere in the marriage, I believe, is when they decide to start doing the counseling, and the pastor is telling them, "Hey, I don't think this is gonna work out or whatever." You haven't. So that tells me, for her not to know, like for real, how his finances are, you never really discussed it. You just went off by what he told you or what he showed you. That's a major thing. Like you said, buying a house together and then talking about getting a car, and they had trouble with that. So I think her dream car was the Benz or something like that. But, you know, there was issues with that. He kept lying. You know, there's always an excuse or whatever, which I think you told me that that's a sign of a narcissist, that it's always an excuse, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it came down to a VP was able to get her a Nissan Altima. Now, baby, no, man, no, sir. You making all this money? Give me my Benz, give me my Range Rover, give me my Mercedes, you know, give me my BMW, whatever. A Nissan Altima, and then there was still issues with that too.
Well, he was driving. When he met her, he was driving a Ford Taurus, but he had 700K in the bank.
Right.
Okay, and he's a VP, and he's driving. Which you can drive whatever you want. I don't care, because there's rich people who intentionally drive a cheaper car, you know, or whatever. But you know us.
Right.
And we got money, and I don't do that. But you know, people who have money, when they get money, a lot of times us, when we get money, we go and want to show it off and brag and stuff like that, and go buy a car that you really can't afford.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So none of that was red flags to her. You know, he's living in a studio apartment. If you have 700K, what are you living in a studio apartment for? That's what I'm saying. And she's living in a better apartment than you. You know what I'm saying? He loved Bomber, but he had ulterior motives too. He needed to draw her in, and that's how he ended up in her apartment too, because hers was nicer than his, is what he said. I mean, it's what she said, you know, whatever. But she overlooked all of that. She overlooked, you know. It. So anyway, you know. But you know, you don't have 700K and then you're living in a studio apartment. I'm just sorry. That should have told her something right there.
Right. There had to be some insecurity on her part too, because like I just feel like if you're secure with yourself and whatever, a lot of stuff he was saying, you wouldn't have took it like no. But if you're longing for someone and longing to have that affection and have that, you know, relationship, you know, that's the main thing. Then no matter what people tell you or what they show you, you're going for the goal. That I want that. And you overlook a lot of stuff. I really think, yeah, she just came off to me. Now, when I, like you say, empathy, when I went and watched the rest of the videos and saw what he was doing, then yeah, I definitely had empathy. But the beginning, the first, because I think I started texting you in the beginning. In the beginning, I was like, right, she's a crazy bitch. Because I'm like, what? I don't get it. So I do see the faults in both or whatever. Right. You know, they both have to take accountability of the decisions they made. But yeah, in the beginning, I was like, oh my God. So to me, that would have cut it off. But if that's your main thing that you see the security, the husband, you know, I'm about to get a house, I'm gonna get the kids, I'm gonna get the car, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. That, I mean, who wouldn't want that in a marriage? That's why, you know, the money thing.
Unless you have it yourself.
Right. I get the money thing, but to me, when I'm watching it, that's not the big thing that happens to me, because I'm like, who wouldn't want all this stuff? Who wouldn't want that when you get it married? Even when you sign stuff, if I'm gonna sign a contract with you, even our mortgage thing, I need to know. Yeah, and the good thing about her that she did not get on any of those papers. It was all in his name, which was good, because she would still kind of be tied to him if they would have, you know.
Right. But that's a red flag there. You know,
he's
buying a house and she's not on anything. You're supposed to be getting married.
Yeah.
And you know, and he's not putting you on anything. You know, she should have questioned that. You know, whatever. She said, she comes in with her, I don't really know about how to buy a house or do whatever that stuff is. It doesn't matter whether you know. You go do your, because she did all this other right. You need to ask questions, you need to investigate, and you need to see everything. And then if your name is not on that, if y'all are getting married, you know, whatever, then you need to question that and say, why am I not on here? Exactly. You know, and the only reason she would not have been on there if she had bad credit or something. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Even if she had bad credit, though, when you're buying a house, they go through everything. And they want everybody who works in your household, they want their income. Okay. And they say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't spend this, you can't spend that. You got to put this money down. And we need to see everybody, we need to see what you're spending from every account that you have when you're buying a house. Okay. So she should have did some investigation to, you know, to figure out what she needs to do for her, you know, to keep herself in this deal. Yeah. And she did none of that. She overlooked. Now she said, I was wondering, or you know, I questioned, okay, but she didn't question him. She didn't go do any investigation until later. That's her fault. Right. You know, narcissist, that he knew that she, you know, how to draw her in, you know, and he knew giving her these, you know, what I have, this grandiose whatever, was drawing her in. Okay, she went in there and then he pulled her in. The bad thing is, once you're in these type of relationships, you know, you start questioning yourself. You know, what have I done wrong? What can I do better? What's wrong with me? You know, when they're out there cheating and doing this stuff, like, what's wrong with me? You know, or whatever. Once you're in, it's traumatic. I mean, it's very traumatic. And sometimes you're just not even in your own full self, because you tamper down who you are, you know, so you don't have to them. And so you don't have to argue, or you don't get yelled and screamed at, you know, or demeaned and stuff, you know, like that. So you may sit there and just take it and stuff too, even though you see all of this stuff happening. You may, you know, and it's sad. I hate to say I've been through it and have done it and stuff too, but narcissists, you know, and I'm a strong person, you know, I'm strong-willed, you know, I am successful, you know, and stuff like that. Narcissists tend to go for those type of people, you know, whatever, and they know how to draw you in, because when they draw you in, they're going to break you down. They're going to, if they can. Most of the time they can. Some people can get out before it happens, but most of us, we get drawn in because we fall in love with them, and they know once you fall in love with them and stuff, you know, like that, they really start going in on you and doing all, you know, whatever stuff, and you want your relationship. You know, most people want their relationship to work. You know, but my question to her is, you know, she talked about her moral code and her religious beliefs. You know, there was no way, if that's what you really believed and stuff, you know, like that, you know, I can't question her more, you know, whether she really, you know, whatever and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to question her religion and stuff, but it's just like, well, then why did you go against your moral code? What made you go against all of your convictions to moving in with him within 2 weeks and stuff? What made, you know, if these were your morals and you spoke about it and how your mother then would be disappointed in you, you know, and God and all this other type of stuff, but you went on and did it anyway.
That's why. Basically, the reason why she did that is because how she looked. She's concerned about how her mother is going to take this, and how her, you know, church or her, you know, spiritual friends are going to take this. Because I can't tell, I don't know anybody that have lived exactly, how the Bible or whatever their religious convictions are to the T. And I don't want to go into my parents and stuff like that, but even the people that you look up to, or even your pastors or whatever, they've had little discretions here and there. No one, I don't think, falls to the T, but you know better, you do better eventually or whatever. But you only did that to kind of show face with your mom and your parents or whatever. So, but if I really want something, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go get it or whatever. It's like we kind of like dumb ourselves down, or we kind of like accept things. Like, say I like a guy and I'm like really into him, but maybe he's a smoker or whatever, cigarettes or whatever. Even though that's not my thing, and I may even have convictions about smoking, I may let that go. Or whatever, but I still may say, well, I don't do that. That's not my thing, or whatever. But to show, to save face with the other people around me, or people that really know me. But in the long run, I want him, and whatever I have to do to keep, to get him and to keep him, I'm gonna let some stuff go. Okay, he smokes. I can get over that because I know he's gonna put me in the house. He's gonna do this, whatever. So it's like, no, girl, you shouldn't even say that. But that was to show face to her parents or whatever, and her church friends or whatever.
Yeah, I don't even know why she mentioned her religious convictions in here, because
and you're pregnant. You're pregnant,
which means you're having sex outside of marriage, because he actually talks about, in the video, she asked for him to propose, I mean, when's he going to propose to her? And he goes off on her like, I'll propose to you when I'm ready to, basically, I'm not saying it verbatim, but I will propose to you when I get ready to propose to you, so I'm like you. I don't want to call her stupid, but I'm gonna say crazy bitch, and
right, yeah.
My friend and T.S. Madison do.
I don't even know what to say. You're
crazy bitch. He hadn't even given you the ring. Y'all are out there looking for a house, and he hasn't even proposed to you yet. You know what I'm saying? And you done already went through 2 or 3 houses, and this one here, when he still hadn't proposed to you yet, and you're asking when we're going to get married, where's the ring, when you're going to propose to me, and he'll tell you, I'll propose to you when I want to propose to you.
And then the proposal was crazy.
And you still went on with this marriage?
He was like, here.
I just don't know.
She was at, and women get, guys can get it like that too. We get so fascinated by being in a relationship, and you see the people on Instagram, you see the people on TV, they make marriage look good, and marriage is. I think 2 is better than 1. However, you need to be on the same page. You need to have those discussions and communication or whatever. Marriage takes work or whatever, and so you can't let the love of being in a relationship or being married or whatever overlook all this other stuff, no matter how bad you want it or whatever. I did see the little flashlight go off on the second house, because I remember her saying, like, this time I want to know everything. She was really talking to the realtor about, he had to contact her. Because I thought it was really strange, and I thought about my parents or whatever. There is no way that my dad is going to be able to say, I'm going to go look at the houses and I'm going to tell you about it or whatever. No, my mom is going to want to be there. Now, I can say that, sometimes my mom, let's say she's at work, she may get off early. She may say to my dad, hey, CK, that's what she calls my dad. CK. She may say, hey, CK, I'm going to go by this house because I'm available and I'm going to look at it. But she's going to tell him, I like it. Come look at it with me. He had told her, I'm going to look at the house by myself and I'll let you know. I'll let you know if it's like,
and then she goes and says, and I didn't want to look at them anyway, because she was almost through by that time, but she still was, she gave a reason why she stayed in the marriage. At first I was like, Heifer, why you stay, and I just got married in January, and it was over in, I think she said June or July or something like that. You were putting up with a lot from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, he had already started mistreating you, and he already was, you already done caught him, doing her investigation. You already done caught him with his Facebook stuff, hiring prostitutes. He told her he did not like her like that. Would you stay with somebody who told you? Oh my God. I mean, would you really literally stay with somebody who told you they did not like you?
So I'm thinking like the knee thing. Do you think it really was a knee thing? I think if you sleeping in another bedroom, what was the love? Did you see the love in this? I didn't see any love. I kind of think he made up the knee thing so they wouldn't be in the same bed together. Because I don't even want to sex you. I don't even want to be with you. So it's like, I'm gonna make up this whole thing because there couldn't have been no sex going on if you in that much pain.
Right.
Oh my God.
But he told her that. That's humiliating. Even with all the other stuff. I mean, I think I would have been gone before that because I did leave, or whatever. It just when it started getting, when I knew that it was getting bad, okay, for my own self or whatever, I got to have some space. I mean, I got, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to park for either a while, take a break for a while or whatever, maybe come back or whatever. But actually, never mind. I'm not getting into that. But if you tell me, when you tell me, I don't like you like that, and don't want to, and you're already in another room. What he did was he was discarding her. That's what he was doing. He was discarding her at that time.
Yeah.
The thing is, she discarded him first.
Yeah, she did.
But he eventually, he may have stayed in the relationship, but he wouldn't be messing with her, and she would have continued all of this through the rest of her life. And then they had more. If they had more kids or whatever, that would have just continued and continued, and she would have been wondering and self-doubt and pain through the rest of that relationship. You know what I'm saying? But she went on and discarded him after she did all of this investigation. It took a long time,
And she did it backwards. That should have been stuff you did in the beginning. Now all of a sudden you Sherlock Holmes.
Right. Yeah, she went on and did the discard, but yeah, she did all of this investigation. But I would have been gone. That would have hurt my feelings so bad. I mean, I probably you're hurt through the whole relationship, except for when you're feeling the good stuff,
Right.
But that would have made me leave. It didn't make her leave.
It did not.
It did not make her leave. And he in there, he's doing things, as far as like, I don't know about the knee because they can make up a lot of medical stuff that's not true to get you to, they can make up stuff and then fall out and do all other type of stuff, and that'll draw you in, cry, they can bring on a cry in a heartbeat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's fake, but until you know that you've been in that type of relationship, you believe that and you fall into that type of stuff. But he would have discarded her. But she should have left before all of that. She should have left before.
She definitely stayed too long.
Right.
She stayed too long.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't even know. I'm wondering why she, maybe she did put all of this on TikTok to help somebody. It will help people.
Oh, and
I automatically knew that when I saw it and started watching. I automatically knew all of this was true. It's going to help other people out there because people who have gone through this, they're going to recognize all of this right away, and it can help them. And people who are going through it now who don't recognize it or whatever and don't know what's happening in these type of relationships, if they see this and stuff, they may realize, and then they'll go and get out of it and stuff, and hopefully get some therapy or something to help them understand these type of relationships, because they are different. They are different than your regular dysfunctional,
Yeah. Yeah.
Relationships or marriages and stuff, like that. Because in those type of relationships, in regular, normal, you might have arguments, even if they cheat or something in those relationships and stuff, they'll take remorse for it, and then they'll maybe not go do that again. They don't want their relationship to end. They would take genuine remorse. In these type of relationships, they'll lie to you and tell you this so-and-so, but they'll go back and do it again and again and again, because they can't stop, because a lot of them have sex addictions that go along with these type of stuff, that constant lying, and stuff, like that. They're going to lie to your face.
Yes.
And then you so desperately want to believe that, because you want to hold on to your relationship, So, I mean, it's traumatic stuff, but you do get over them.
Yeah.
If you allow yourself, it takes a while, but you do get over them.
Y'all, when I tell you, this lady, she did so much. She called the ex-wife. She called members. The family members confirmed stuff.
Right.
I mean, one of the brothers was like, "We don't know who that is," and that's made up, and that's the ex-wife was like, "No, my child is fine." I mean, she did all this digging, but still stayed. I mean, it was like evidence after evidence, proof after proof, and she still stayed. But I think she finally got to her. R. Kelly has a song, "When a Woman's Fed Up." She got to that point when he was on the phone with his aunts, and she was on the phone with her mother, I believe, and he said, "I ain't never lied to her." Ooh, baby. When he said that just, she said, I said it to you too. She said, "I will beat you up like the bitch you are." Yeah. I said, okay, she is fed up. But she did background checks on this dude. Socials didn't match. Addresses didn't match. States that you say you were in, and even the stuff about his own mother and father. You said your daddy was a preacher and your mom was a all this was lies.
And daddy was a policeman. Yeah. And she made up he made up the stuff about the graves, his grandparents' graves, and he was impersonating a cop.
Yes.
He had a warrant out for his arrest. And they will take on other people's identity, and make it, and that's what he did. He made the stuff that his twin brother was actually the VP.
Yeah.
And his twin brother was the successful one, and so he made himself his twin brother.
Right.
He also made himself his friend. He also took on some women's identities of who they were and stuff, like that. I'm surprised he didn't go dressing like. He may have, but because they will go buy the same shit that you have, and do all that type of stuff. They can become you,
right?
Or whatever. If they see you successful and so on, so like that too. So you got it, man.
This was deep.
This was so much, and it went on so long, But
it really wasn't that long, though, was it?
it was almost 2 years.
Okay, 2 years. Okay,
it was almost 2 years. She should have gotten out of that, and because she didn't marry him. It took until whatever, because all this stuff was happening before, and she just overlooked it. So they were still in a relationship, but they were living together, and he was doing all this stuff. He was in there, peeing in the damn bottle, not going to the bathroom and stuff. Well, you got up to poop, so you can get up to even if it hurts. Drag your fat ass. Oops, sorry. I don't mean to be calling you, but you drag your ass. You know what I mean? Drag your ass on into that bathroom. That's nasty. That's trifling as hell.
Yes, that is.
You know what I'm saying?
And leave it under the bed.
And she knew that was still going on, and she still had to put him out at that time. Whatever. But it was growing up. But a lot of that stuff, he was doing it to keep her drawn in and to get sympathy. And that's the manipulation tactic of them, of what they do, to manipulate you, to draw you in so you can have sympathy and empathy for them. And that'll keep you into that relationship, even though they're stepping out of it, you know,
And I was going to bring that
with
up.
this, that, cheating with this, and they will lie to your face.
I was going to bring that up. So what did you think about when he told her someone came over here? No, let me finish so they can have context and you tell me. Because I know this is talk, baby, yeah. And I just, oh my God. So he told, y'all listen to this, baby. He told her that someone came over in a Dodge, whatever,
Right.
and backed up or whatever and said they came over here looking. Now they living in her house, her townhome. He came over asking for you, and I told him, oh, she not here or whatever. And so the guy just left off or whatever. And then he tells her, and he's like, what? He knows you're married now or whatever. And so in her mind, she's like, who would do that? Because I don't do pop-ups. Because I'm the same way, baby. Don't pop up on my house. You know, don't do that, honey. Give me a warning or whatever. But yeah, so what was that about? Why would
he was doing that?
So
that's what he was
deflected
doing. Yeah, he was gaslighting her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was what he does. You know, he's going to make it out like you're doing that.
Yeah.
That was in my relationships too. Like I have never cheated in any of my relationships.
Right.
When I'm in my relationship, I'm faithful. Yeah. I don't even be thinking about cheating. Right. We've had that discussion before. It's not in my character to do it. I hope I never do anything like that in any. If I get into another relationship, I hope I never would do anything like that, because you know it's damaging. It's just damaging.
Right.
You know, but they will, even if they don't tell you that they think you're cheating, they allude to you cheating, and you know, with the control issues and watching you and just the stuff that they say, these little under comments and stuff. You know, they'll try to you know, distance you from your friends, and or sometimes they'll do it from your family. You know, they'll try to isolate you from them, and they'll make up stuff, you know, whatever, because they're doing that. You know, they may be sleeping with their friends. You know what I'm saying? They may be sleeping with their church members and pastors and deacons and stuff. You know, like that. You know, they're, you know, most of them are already on the apps and have 2 or 3 profiles here and there and stuff like that. Most of them are on the apps. They're sleeping with people, you know, and stuff like that. So they're going to deflect. I don't even know the right word. They're going to reflect that onto you, because that's what they're doing. Yeah. That's what he was doing. Yeah. He was the one, you know, paying hookers or about to pay hookers on those sites, looking at, you know, doing all the other little type of stuff. No telling what else he was doing. They lead double lives. They have to lead double lives in order to keep up with these lies that they do. They gotta have double lives so they can do their cheating and stuff, you know, like that. Okay, so that's what was happening with that. So shit had already started breaking down in their relationship. I mean, he already knew, okay, my ass is in trouble. Okay? I gotta figure out something else, you know, so she don't leave me, because I need a place to stay, you know, whatever, and blah 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 blah. You know, when she kicked his ass out, he was living in his car. Right. You see what I'm saying? He was a damn gut bucket. No clothes. Okay. So, you know, whatever. But and these jobs and stuff that he said he had, he wasn't any of in you know, he would get jobs, but he wasn't none of this high profile VP. Right. He was none of that in these jobs. Okay. So he was lying about and he was about everything, you know. Yeah. You know, and he was getting temporary jobs, but so he had to make her feel bad about herself and to accuse her of cheating and stuff, you know, like that, because that's what he was doing. Right. And most narcissists, not all of them cheat, but most of them do. And they're going to lie and say that they're not, you know, or whatever. And then you see what I'm saying? But they're going to accuse you, or they're going to underhandedly accuse you. They might not come right out and say it, but they're going to allude to you cheating because that's what they're doing. And the stuff that they, you know, the stuff that they throw up in your face about cheating, that's exactly what they're doing. Okay. So, and then it's to take the blame off of them, because they'll tell you they're not cheating, and they'll talk about other people. Oh, I hate that cheating. You know, these people, those, you know, that's sad. You know, I would never do something and stuff like that. But they're saying that because that's, you know, I want a relationship, you know, and I would never step outside of our relationship. You know, I want true love. I want so and so, and that's what he was telling her.
Wow.
And she was telling him on their first date. That's what they were talking about. I want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
I want to be married. And and he told her about he made, which was a lie. He made up about his wife, his ex-wife cheating on him. That's why he left her. No, you were the one.
You were.
And
they told her what she needed to hear.
And he told her, right. And she told her what they wanted to hear. And you tend to believe that type of stuff because they'll talk really bad about their exes. They'll talk really bad about their ex-spouses and stuff like that. And they'll damn them into the ground and stuff. But it's really them who are doing that. But they want you to believe. And that's how you get drawn into, because you be like, oh, that's so, oh my, she's, she or he, that's evil. Right. Oh, how could they do that to you? You're so sweet. You're so nice. Yeah. Why would they do that to you? But it's not, they really aren't doing that to them. That's them who are doing it to them. Yeah. But they're going to gaslight it and they're going to reverse it. Mm-hmm. And, they'll talk about them, they cheated on me, or they're down here having this type of sex with all these different people. No, that's not really what happened. Really, it was you who were doing it, but you're putting it to them. And the problem is with that too is they say it so much, and people in public, these narcissists, they're so grandiose and over the top, and people love them because they're so happy and friendly and stuff out in public, and their family, usually, certain family members and then their friends, they only see them as this happy, laughing and having fun and, all over the place and stuff like that. That's only how they see them. They don't see them when they're not in front of them. And then all of that, partying and all this, they don't see that. And then once this is the real you here, because once they're not in front of you, that stops. Mm-hmm. And whoever's closest to you, whether it's your partner, your husband, your wife, your children, your mother, father, whatever, whoever's the closest to you outside of all of that, they're going to get that. They're the ones who are going to get that. Yes. That hell. And like I say, it ain't always hell, because they give you enough little breadcrumbs to keep you drawn in and to keep you, to keep you always guessing, oh, well, look, oh, he loves me or she loves me, or they're treating me nice today and stuff. Oh, we're getting back to normal. We're getting back to when I first met you. We're getting back to when I thought you loved me, you treated me. You know what I'm saying?
So another thing that happened too, I think you can speak on too. Remember the part where she wanted to see the building. He had said, this is my building that I work in, and blah, blah, it was on the freeway. Because I think they had went to go see the funeral home or something like that, or whatever. And so they were on their way back, and they passed by the building. He's like, this is where we're moving to. And she kind of questioned that, like, why are you moving into this building, with the work you kind of do? I think he basically kind of said, this is where the corporate office is going to be, or like, the administrative stuff or whatever. Right. And so then, I don't know if we said it on here. I know we talked about it. That's when he wanted to get access into the building. He's like, I want to show my wife, where I work or whatever. So he called the guy or whatever, and the guy was like, let me see if I can, get you in. Because he was like, my badge is not going to work. But you're the freaking VP, right? But my badge is not going to work. So what did you think about when all that went down? Because at that point, she said, I became numb to it. Right. It was like lie after lie, excuse after excuse. So right after that, because I think this is going to go in with what a narcissist is, and you can explain a little bit more. Right after that, I think maybe a few days later, a day later or whatever, she comes home, and there's the thing on the counter about the trip to London or whatever. What? Why did the narcissist do that? Like, what were they trying to accomplish? Like, is this to like make up for what I did?
It's not to make up for what he did. Mm-hmm. It's to keep her stuck in her turmoil and pain. Mm-hmm. That's part of it. But it's because he has fucked up and got caught. He's getting caught. Mm-hmm. He already realizes she's on. He already realizes she's onto him. Right. She may not know that he realizes that she is onto him, but he already knows that she probably already know, because they're very insecure.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
they overthink stuff, or whatever. There's a lot going on, and there's just a lot going on in their brain and stuff, like that. But that was, let me do this. It's called breadcrumbing. I put it down here.
Yeah.
They're going to give you just a little piece of whatever to keep you drawn in, so you don't leave them.
Don't check out.
Now they may leave, like I said, they may leave you eventually when they get ready to leave you, and they're tired of you, or they think they got somebody, they might somebody else that they think that they got out there that's better than you or whatever. That ain't gonna work either, because they're gonna do the same thing to them too. It might take a few weeks, a few months, a year. It don't usually take a year. Usually only takes a few weeks to a few months for them to start doing them the same way too, because they can't keep up with that.
Right.
That's to keep up with and to continue with, or whatever. And then, once they start seeing your faults and stuff, and then see that you're human, because they put you up on this pedestal.
Yeah.
And once they start seeing your faults and see that you're human, they don't really want you that much anymore anyway, because you're not feeding them. You got to keep feeding them, and they see you as inferior then, or they see you as not what they thought you was, or where they put you up as. So they're eventually they slowly start getting rid of you anyway, and giving you the silent treatment and doing all that type of stuff. But he was feeding her breadcrumbs, and that's what they do. They're going to feed you a few little breadcrumbs because they done something.
Right.
Just say they were out cheating, right? Well, when they come from cheating, they know that what they did, whatever. They don't want you to know that they were cheating or whatever, but they may go and buy you a gift.
Right.
They may come and have good sex with you, whatever, where they might not even touched you or whatever for a week or two, or anything, or even longer than that. But to make up for whatever stuff, they may go and have sex with you, and then they may shower you with praises, buy you a gift, take you out to dinner, or just talk to you nice and stuff, like that. That's called breadcrumbing. They feed you just enough, and start pretending like they have a little bit of interest in you and stuff, and then you get drawn back in. It was like, she really does love me. He really does love me.
And he knew exactly what to do.
He knew exactly what to do.
She said that if you know me, I've always wanted to go to Paris, London, or whatever. I like the way you said that they draw you back, because at that point, it felt like she was ready to check out. She was ready, because she was upset. And so that was his way of drawing her back. Well, let me get her this trip that they never went on. But she's going on it now, though, because all this publicity that she's gotten, I think someone has given her the trip or whatever. But yeah, that's good. That's
And so this is what was the silent treatment, is what she was getting, because they had that remember they had separate bedrooms and all of this other type of stuff. She said, in there, he wouldn't be talking to her sometimes, and then and when he was, it was rude or whatever. She's back here in this room wondering what the hell done happened. And then she's already noticed these red flags, and it's like, what have I done? And then she's still ruminating, like, what can I do? Right. I got to get him back, or eventually this is going to be okay. It's not going to be okay. Not without therapy. And even with therapy, it's hard for narcissists to change their behavior, because most of them do not admit or accept that that's them. The ones that do, they will pick their asses up and they will go to therapy on their own, not because you want them to go, but because they know, I gotta fix this, and I want to fix myself. I want to know, and if they can do that, and stuff. Not saying that the relationship is going to be all this perfect and stuff, because it's not, because they're still going to have those issues and stuff, but they may be able to recognize and catch it, and then y'all can deal with it if you stay in that relationship. But they have to want and get therapy on their own, and then you have to have therapy yourself. They have to have therapy yourself, and then you probably you need to have couple therapy. So whatever, that's a lot of therapy, but therapy actually helps you understand what this is, because when you first get into this type of stuff, what the hell is happening? You don't know what this is and why they're doing this and why this is happening, and you just stay in a constant state of confusion and flux, and and self-doubt, and and feeling unloved and stuff, and
I one thing too, I felt bad for him, and it's kind of hard to feel bad for him. But when she had the conversation with one of the relatives, and they were like, "Oh, we don't even fuck with him. He's been lying since he was a little kid."
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that made me. That was the only part that I really felt bad for him, because I'm like, what? Because in a way, I'm trying to think like, what makes a person like this?
Mm-hmm.
And so this must have happened early on, that you're already lying.
Well, here's the thing: his family, because you saw, when his family has come on, his ex-wife's. Oh
no, I haven't seen those.
Oh, you haven't seen what the ex-wife's. Oh, you haven't seen the ex-wife's. The ex-wife has come on and said, has said all of that, that same stuff that happened to her. Most, all of it is almost the same. Whatever. Her son has come on and said, yeah, he had to beat that man up. And he ended up in jail because of it. Because how he abused his mother. Okay, his whole family, I think, with the exception of one aunt, his whole family don't want him around. They have come out and said, what she is saying is true. He has ruined relationships with all of us. His twin brother, the one who is the twin brother who he was pretending to talk to. Yeah, crazy ass. I think that even went on with me and a couple of mine too, where they're pretending to talk to somebody or making it bigger than what it is. This is so, I don't know, but he was on the phone with fake conversation every morning, pretending like he was talking to his twin brother. Right. His twin brother came out and said, "I have been talking to him in years. What I'm saying?
He owed me money. I'm mad.
I don't even want him around me." Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he took on his twin brother's persona. Right. But he and the rest of his family, the aunt, all of these people, they don't allow him to come around. He don't even have nowhere to go. That's why he was living in his car. He couldn't go home to his family because they said he's always been a liar like that. They said he's narcissistic. He abuses. He abuses people. He abuses.
That he so-called love.
And he physically abused his. He physically abused. Now he's supposed
to went to jail.
Yeah, he's supposed. He supposedly he has two. Thank you. He supposedly he had two other ex-wives and stuff, and she came out and corroborated Reese Tessie, whatever
her story.
Everybody is corroborating her story. Confirmed her story. But the family does not want him around them. He hasn't seen any of them for years because they don't allow him because of that narcissistic. And to me, I don't know if he's psychopath or if he's pathological. At first I was like he's probably more just pathological, but I'm believing, I almost fear for her. Wonder, I was like, why you put this shit out there? He may come after you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because the psychopath will kill her ass or beat her ass or do something to her family, whatever. Those psychopaths, I don't know where he falls at in that thing, but this behavior on the phone, talking to somebody, and I'll show you this video where he says he's a prophet. So to me, he's bordering on psychopath. He's a psychopath with narcissistic, with the NPD in there too. He got a few comorbidities going on right here. You know what I'm saying?
Rooms with the tatted
there's something else just wrong with him. For him to sit in there and pretend every single morning like he was talking to his brother, and they're having this wonderful, lovely conversation, and she's like, "Oh, she's buying into that because and she was like, but I heard him talking to." No, you heard him pretending to talk to somebody, just like he was pretending to talk to his friends. Yeah. He'd be on there pretending to talk to his friend, pretending to talk to his aunt. All this pretending stuff. And, she should have said, put them on speakerphone.
Right. Exactly.
Let me talk to them. Hey, so-and-so, and then you should be able to hear them talking something coming through that phone, or whatever.
Even in that car conversation, when he was on the phone with the security man, that could have been on a speakerphone. I mean, we in the car together. I can hear it, but he didn't even want to, show that or whatever because he knew he was not going to be able to get in that building.
Right.
So what about the part where? And I think I feel like I don't know. Was he trying to get sympathy or whatever when he took her to the supposedly graveyard of it? Was it his parents or his grandparent? Grandparent. And come to find out, the only
it might have been his parents. It might have been his parents too, because I think his parents are dead.
Yeah, they are dead.
His parents are dead too, so it might have been his parents. And
so remember, she said that when she went there was no like first last name. It was just last name. And the only reason why he knew that he could go there and show her a last name is because he used to work there.
Right there. He worked there as the guard person who cleaned the graves, and you know how you go and do all of that type of stuff.
Yeah, like the porter or something.
So yeah, he knew all the graves and stuff around there.
What was that to do? I mean, like what?
Because he had already told him about her parents.
So he needed to prove it to her.
He has to keep up the facade. That's what I'm saying. It's a double life. You have to keep up, and they can't really keep up with it, but they're going to lie and scheme and manipulate, in order to keep up with that type of stuff. So he had to go and try to prove that to her. So he had to find somebody's whatever. He had to find their grave. And he just made it. She's not going to know. She's already have sympathy and empathy. Like, I don't play with death.
Right.
I don't play with death. Because he even made up about his ex-wife's child, his stepdaughter, saying she died during COVID.
Now that's awful.
That's what I'm telling you.
That's low of the low.
This man I'm thinking he's psychopath.
Yeah.
Why you don't make up stuff, like that.
To put death on somebody.
And he drew her in. When he did that, her sympathy and empathy immediately was like, oh my God.
Give him the money because he wanted money.
He wanted $2,000, whatever, and it was coming out of their joint account. You know what I'm saying? So, and she went on and approved it because he used death. That's a psychopath. That's a psychopath. Whatever.
That's low.
And there's different phases of narcissism, and stuff, like that. Some of them are whatever on this spectrum. Some of them are all the way over here. Some of them aren't that severe. Some of them you can kind of deal with, or whatever, because it's not that severe. But, when you start getting to that middle part of the on the spectrum down to that last part, it can become unbearable because it's nothing but constant lies, manipulation, and they'll do anything, they don't want you to leave them.
They don't.
Whatever. They want to be the one to leave you first or whatever, and stuff, like that, leave you crying on the floor.
Right.
But once you know what I'm saying? Once they discard you and stuff, like that, they may try to draw you back in. It's called hoovering, but they may try to draw you back in and they may not, or stuff, like that.
Right.
But they all the narcissists have certain characteristics and patterns that they follow.
Right.
Some may differ a little bit as far as covert, overt, or whatever. But most of those traits and characteristics, it's a pattern, and it's not one time. Because if it's just one time or two times, sometimes you can overlook that because it's not consistent, it's not a pattern. But with them, it's a constant pattern, and they can't stop it. Yeah. The addictions and stuff, once the addictions are in there and stuff like that, they cannot stop it. And that's why it becomes NPD. That's why it becomes a disorder, because they can't stop it.
Right.
And then you're harmed in that process.
That's why
you're harmed, and then you're left looking stupid.
Yeah.
So let's kind of. She did eventually get out of it, and she went and did all the investigation stuff. I ain't doing no investigation.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
too much.
that's just too much.
That's
You
too
know,
much.
I just, you know,
that's when all the signs were there.
right. Yeah, you know, once you start knowing that this is not going to get better, or they're starting to do, you know, punish you. Once they start punishing you and you know and doing all this type of stuff, it's just time to get out of it and leave, so you can try to heal your heart and deal with the pain and the disappointment of your relationship not working out. It's just time to go. You know, and just try to heal from it and stuff. It takes a while, you know, and stuff. You ruminate about them sometimes, you know, and stuff, you know, like that. But eventually, you will get better. And she eventually got out of it. You know, I still think her motives, you know, because she done made a lot of money off of this. You know, she's making a lot of money off of it. I still think her motives, you know, were both, you know, loneliness, blah 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 blah, and she saw the dollar signs and stuff, you know, like that.
Yeah.
But you know, I want to talk about the part of the forgiveness. You know, because we had that discussion too. So you know, we actually had that yesterday. You know, when we were coming from the car place. So then I had asked you. I said, well, what do you think? Should you forgive the narcissist? You know, now I believe in forgiveness. I do believe in forgiveness. You know, for you know, people. You know, I'm gonna put this thing up for, you know, what forgiveness. You know what. There's different versions of forgiveness.
Or different definitions.
Yeah, because you know, religious definitions of forgiveness. You know, because some people believe in that. You know, there's just other types. So I'm gonna put this up here. You know, do we really need to forgive those who intentionally and repeatedly continue to abuse and damage our souls? You know, and that's what happens with a narcissist. It's not a one-time thing. It's a pattern. It's repeated and repeated. And they will, you know, tell you they're gonna, you know, they'll tell you they're gonna change or they're sorry, but it's not real. It's to get you to, you know, draw you back in, you know, and then they're gonna go back and do the same thing again. Right. So, you know, but we had this discussion and you said, you know, tell me what you said about why you forgive, why, you know, I don't know if you forgive a narcissist or are you talking about just regular, like if you were regular, I mean, people who aren't narcissistic or that toxic.
Yeah, we had the discussion. So I can give forgiveness to anyone, but well, to everyone. However, I don't know if it was clear that when it comes to someone that has hurt me, I'm going to forgive them, but I no longer have the ties to them. So say I was dating a narcissist and I've forgiven them and I've forgiven them and, you know, I've forgiven them. Once I get to a limit of like, okay, this has gone on too many times, I'm done with this. However, I'm releasing you by forgiving you, but you're no longer in my life. So you'll never have that chance to do that to me again. And I even have to do that with some friends. It's like, it's not going anywhere. I'm continually getting hurt. It's causing harm to me. And, you know, and so I don't want this. So I forgive you, but you're no longer allowed to come through my gates anymore. You know, the gates is up. So one of the two best definitions I've heard of forgiveness, one from my mother, which she got from her mother, which is my grandmother, of course. She told my mom one time, she said, when someone does something bad to you, it don't make sense for you to harbor on that or whatever, because you over here miserable and, you know, locked up and not enjoying life. Well, they out there enjoying life. And my mom said when her mom told her that, she was like, oh, well, let me let me forgive or let that go and let me go enjoy life, because I don't want to be stuck up here sad and, you know, going through that and replaying that or whatever, because it makes no sense. If you enjoy, why my life stopping because of that? I'm gonna go enjoy life too. Another definition I've heard that I like, and this is unforgiveness. They said that unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die or be harmed. And it's like, so what they mean by that is, when I don't forgive you, it's like I've drunk the poison and it's killing me. But I for some reason I think that you're the one that should be dying because I'm not giving you my forgiveness. I'm withholding forgiveness for you, but you're the one that's actually suffering because that thing keeps playing, in your mind, and you're not really living because you're holding on to all of that. So from those two examples, I've just learned to forgive. Now, I do not like the statement that people say, I forgive and forget, because, and maybe I'm not godly enough or I ain't got to that point or whatever, but I have never forgotten. Mm-hmm. So I think that's just bull. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that I can forgive. It may not be an overnight thing, so I can forgive you, but with forgiveness comes expectations of change. Mm-hmm. It also makes me have limits and boundaries too with my forgiveness. So in other words, I'm not going to treat you, or I hope not to treat you any different. I hope not to treat you, like you're my enemy or whatever. I hope to continue to still have that communication, still kind of like hang out with you. But you must know that because you have, offended me in some kind of way, that I am on guard a little, but that doesn't mean I haven't forgiven you. It just means I'm trying to protect me or whatever. But I do want to forgive you because I don't want that to start to terrorize me. And so that's what I mean by forgiveness. And I mean, I know there's some, I know you had a different way of it, but that's what I mean by forgiveness.
So here's the definition of that I put up for forgiveness. It says forgiveness, an intentional decision to let go of resentment, grudges, and anger. The act that hurt or offended you might always be with you. Mm-hmm. And that's what you were talking about. You let it go, even though you still gonna remember it and stuff, like that. So that's what forgiveness is. Mm-hmm. And then I also put up here with forgiveness, because I can forgive the narcissist, but I have to still be with them. I don't necessarily have to be with them or whatever, but I have to see that you have changed and that you're doing something, that you have remorse for what you do, and you are continuing to do, because they don't only just do it to you, they're going to continue to do that when they get into another relationship, and they're going to continue to do that most of the time for the rest of their life, unless they can get some therapy. Right. And, so if just say I was still with the narcissist, if I was still with them, and then we genuinely went to therapy together, and we were working on that, and then and they're, what I'm saying, and they're working on that type of stuff, and whatever, then I can forgive it, but just to go forgive it, and they're going to go back and do that to me again, or they're going to go do that to somebody else, even if I'm not in the relationship no more, they're going to do that to somebody else. I can't forgive you, when you're still out there doing the same behavior. And here's the thing, they know what they're doing. Okay. Because they don't go to work and do that. Right. They ain't gonna go up in the church and yell at the preacher and do that. Right. So they know how to control, they know how to control their emotions, their anger, that rage, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Unless you're a sex addict or something like that, you should be able to control all that, all that infidelity and cheating and stuff, like that, because you know how to choose to go and have the sex, what I'm saying? Exactly. So you should know how to choose, to choose not to have it. Right. So, but if they had, if I was still, with my narcissist, I hate to say that, if I was still with them and we went to therapy and I can see that, that you genuinely want to change, and you are working on it and doing that type of stuff, and then you have that type of remorse and stuff, and you're not, when it's happening or something, you could talk about it and it can, stop it, or whatever. Yeah. Then I can forgive. Right. I can forgive that, or whatever stuff, or if you're just in a regular, like with friends and family members and stuff, who harm you, or hurt you, or something, like that. I can forgive, that type of stuff, long as they're not, if they're continuing to do the same thing to me too, I would get myself away from that also. And then I wouldn't forgive them either if they're going to continue to do, to harm me or to do stuff to me, because I'm not going to go out intentionally harm you and hurt you, you know, or do anything like that too. So I don't want you doing that to me either. So I would be able to forgive, but not with anybody who continues to hurt or harm me.
And I think since I am a church boy, you know, from a young age, I think that forgiveness, some of my thoughts on forgiveness comes from that forgiveness was taught, that it's free. Like you freely give that. It doesn't give them a license to continue. It's just like no one should have to beg. It's almost like you don't have to beg me for it. You don't have to prove anything. It's almost like I get it's an automatic almost. And some people think that's why, you know, Christians are weak and, you know, we just accept anything, you know, or, you know, the people that, you know, believe like that, because that's why they say, you know, y'all are so easy on, you know, white people when it comes to, you know, the slavery, what y'all just ready to forgive everything or whatever. And I guess it was taught that way. However, I don't think that forgiveness gives you the license to just, you know, just run rapid with whatever you're doing, with the offenses or whatever. I can forgive you and let that go. And it may not ever be a reconciliation as far as we're buddy again.
Right.
I can forgive you and let you go. I can forgive you, and there's going to be some changes in the relationship. It's not just going to be like, you know, I just drop everything and, you know, I have no barriers on my heart and I just let you, because that's going to cause me to hurt again and again and again and again. So I'm going to forgive you, but I'm not going to let those bars down or whatever. So forgiveness doesn't to me equal reconciliation or whatever. I would love for it to, you know, but like I said, this right here it's always replaying. But I guess it was just taught to us in a way, and that may be something I need to study a little bit more, that forgiveness was just a free thing, and they take it back to, you know, Christ forgave us, you know, all the transgressions, but were they really transgressions toward him? Well, you know, so you have to really think about it. But, you know, Christ forgave us. He forgave you of all that, and he didn't ask for anything. Actually, he became the sacrifice, you know. So I guess the way I've been raised in forgiveness, it's just something that you just freely give. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to do anything for me. I'm going to give it to you regardless. But at the same time, you learn in life that you still have to have barriers and boundaries or limits when it comes to forgiveness. Yeah, I'll forgive you, but baby, there's so much I can. So say my friend hurts me. So I'm in a relationship and me and that guy, we break up, or even we're together and one of my best friends tries to talk to my boyfriend or whatever. That's gonna be very hard, you know, because you're my friend, and you're trying to talk to my boyfriend or whatever, or sleep with him, whatever. Deceitful. I hope to be, because the way I'm raised, I feel like I'm gonna forgive you. That's gonna be really hard. I feel like I'm gonna forgive. It's like it's gonna freely come, but there will definitely be, you know, barriers, restrictions. That's gonna be. I mean, because this can never happen again if we even do that. Or I'm gonna forgive you and let you go. Like, I release you of that because I don't want that to keep keeping me up at night and all that kind of stuff. But we could never be friends again. So it's like, I forgive you, but you go.
Okay, so let me tell you about what, you know, the narcissistic pattern as far as forgiving. When you forgive them, unless they're in therapy to know, to recognize what's happening or whatever. When you forgive them, they think, okay, well, you done forgave me. You know what I'm saying? You don't. So yeah. So okay. I'm going to, now I can go do. You know, now I know that you're gonna forgive me again. So you give them license. You know, they think they have license to go out and do whatever they want to do because you came back to them. You know, you forgave them. You overlooked what they're doing and stuff. So in their minds, you know, it's like, okay, well, you know, in their mind, it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm gonna go do it again because I know that I know I can manipulate them into what I'm going to say to them or whatever, or I'll rage you, whatever stuff I can. It gives them, in their mind, it gives them license to abuse and mistreat you again.
So and repeat offender.
And a repeat offender and a repeat offender and a repeat offender. But the abuse will get worse if you go back to them and you have forgiven them without any type of therapy or anything like that. And they follow that pattern. And that's what was happening with her too. She kept overlooking stuff. She kept forgiving and she kept making excuses of what all these red flags. She kept making excuses and stuff. He knew that. Yeah. Okay. So he knew how to manipulate her and draw her back in, and he knew how, and he kept abusing her. He went on that internet and was looking at prostitutes, porn, hiring them, whoever else he was sleeping with and stuff and like that. He was lying, doing all this other stuff because she allowed it, and she accepted. Basically, she accepted him doing it. She gave him the license, which is wrong. She didn't really give him the license, but in his mind, she did. Well, she already done. I'm living up in this house, and I'm blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna fuck over her, and then you know what? And I ain't going nowhere because she already done took me back. She already, whatever she accepted, whatever. So whatever. And that's their thinking. They ain't gonna admit that, but that's their thinking because that's why they go back and keep doing and stuff because we have given them, we have forgiven them.
They think we
because that has coming out of my mouth. I forgive you, and stuff, like that. Then the crying comes in and all the other type of stuff, and the empathy that comes out of us. We go in and we do forgive them, and then they mistreat us again and do the same stuff over and over again. And that's what would happen. It's hard. That's why I say it would be hard for me to forgive the narcissist. Now, I'm not going to treat them bad or be mean or whatever. If I see them, whatever, it's, so-and-so, so-and-so. I'm not going to do anything because that's not my nature, whatever and stuff, like that. Yeah. I ain't going to bring it up, or whatever, but it's just, I know what you've done to me, whatever, and I can still love you, and I can like you, and I can love you, whatever. But I don't forgive that part. There's other things you maybe have forgiven, and I
forgive them too, but you don't bring it back up.
But I don't forgive you for hurting my soul like that and doing those type of things to me when I didn't do that to you, or whatever and stuff. I don't forgive it. I can still have empathy for you, and the stuff you've gone through that made you this way, and stuff, like that. But I don't have to forgive you.
Yeah, you don't have to.
And I'm not going to do any harm to you, or anything like that. So,
I do like the part in the video where she said, she had, of course he had been lying and doing all this kind of stuff. But when she found out that he was cheating, she said, this was my way out. So, and I think, going back to the church, because she was looking for a biblical reason to me to be able to leave, because she knew all this stuff. She done did the background check. She done did all this, call family members, exes, and all this. So all this, but how can I get out of this and be okay in the Lord's sight? You know what I mean? And she knew that if of course God doesn't, smile on that. He frowns upon that. So that's my way out. And it's crazy that it took that. But I'm glad that it, that was her thing to finally see, okay, I need to get out of this.
So we're almost coming up on 2 hours here. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video of him, classic narcissistic behavior. Okay, I'm gonna play that of him, just a little bit of it, and then I'm gonna let you give your final thoughts, and then I'm gonna scroll my thoughts across the screen. Okay. I'll let you talk about yours or whatever, but I'm gonna just scroll mine across the screen. Some points to take away. But I'm gonna play him first. And I don't know anybody who would believe him.
Right.
I mean, he's on here talking about damn R. Kelly and agreeing with what R. Kelly did to people. This man is just absolutely crazy to me. but it's true narcissistic behavior.
Relationship guy, what's going on?
Oh my gosh.
Recordings just
It's
Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that
saying this, and it just was too nasty to me. So if the words don't match his on screen, it's because the picture I was not about to put up. That just was some weird shit.
Would you guys consider jacking off to be a sport? I don't know about you motherfuckers, but I consider that shit to be a sport, okay? If people can sit back and label goddamn golf, which...
What's up, my friends, and welcome back to the Just Case and Brand. That you're tuning in, and I hope you have a good day, because
about everything. Follow
Yeah, I had it at a certain point. I hate
the house with Brad. He lying to y'all.
Day, because this one right here, oh, this gonna make you laugh.
Rumor, Reesa Teesa, ex-wife, who straight lying to y'all. It's sad because it's completely false. And we went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up. But my message to her is please stop lying to these people, and you can tell them the real reason I left you, you cheated. I caught you in the house with Bradley, and we went to marriage counseling, didn't work, and we broke up. More to the point, I haven't decided who I'm going to talk to exactly or go on whose page or whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know that she lied about everything. Follow her, don't follow her. That's up to you. All that stuff she said, it's complete lies.
I know what you're thinking. No, you are the complete liar. I went ahead and went through his TikTok account, pulled up some of his videos because, y'all, he is a relationship coach. Oh, yes, you heard me. A relationship coach.
Everybody, relationship guy, what's going on? Relationships are hard work, but you got to put the time in and the effort. Sometimes people make the mistake by not putting the time or the effort in to their relationship, but they just want it to work and it all flows smoothly. Doesn't work like that. Relationships are work. You got to put the work in. Don't expect to reap the benefit if you're not going to put the time in. So the message from your guy, the relationship guy.
Women will literally always take advantage of you if you're the type of guy that lets them. You see, if you always just let it slide when a girl does something to you that you're not actually okay with, well, like, that's how it happens. You just got taken advantage of. She cancels plans at the last minute. You don't say anything. She shows up late to the date. You don't say anything. She's on her phone on the date. You don't do anything. Even though it doesn't seem like a big deal, you just set the tone that going forward in this relationship, you can kind of do whatever you want, and I'm not really going to say anything or do anything about it. I'm that type of guy. You need to learn how to calmly but directly communicate when things are not okay with you, and then you'll never be taken advantage of ever again.
Some people say closure ain't something they need, but it actually is something you need. You have to have it. And some of y'all breaking up for the wrong reason. So really think about that before you just start, throwing everything out the window, because finding that special person is hard in this world today. So think about that before you just start running your mouth.
A friend of mine got some great news. You're moving up, all the way up.
Maybe you should just leave it alone. Everything ain't your business all the time about everybody. Every detail of their personal life when you first meet is not your business. It takes time and years to get to know somebody that way sometimes. Please allow the process to be the process.
Check it out. You got to hear it though.
So he gonna say,
there are too many comments. It's too much.
Okay.
If you guys keep commenting mean things on my posts, I'm going to stop posting. Then your little lies have no place to take it out on. Your choice. My next video won't be usual. I need to tell my truth, but the truth has been spun around too much. With evidence, the sheep are blind. This is what God predicted in Revelations. I believe I am the coming forth of what is coming next in this world. I could save you all. I will speak through pictures in a code only true believers can understand. This is the forthcoming. Keep your eyes open.
Nigga, if you can't spell big words and you don't know how to really articulate yourself on video and it's fucking with you that the people is talking shit on you, just say that. Because speaking through pictures, that's code for I can't read and I can't spell big words and I'm not good at talking on camera.
Just in that there.
Oh my goodness, this man is delusional.
Mm-hmm. And then let's play our
chuckle thing?
Our chuckle for the day.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that, and then we'll do your. I know we don't went over. I'm sorry, folks. We done. This was a hot topic,
It really
and it was a
was.
lot to it.
And it hits home for both. I mean, we both have been in. I know most of us have been in relationships where signs of it, but some people are, like you say, clinically narcissists.
Right. Yeah. And all of us can have some type of narcissistic tendencies every now and then. We're looking at ourselves, going to the gym and doing. I mean, any of us at any given time. But those are just regular narcissistic, stuff. We're not harming nobody.
Right.
You might be whatever overdoing something or whatever, but you're not harming anybody.
Right.
Or whatever. That's not what narcissists.
They harm you.
Yeah. When they're causing harm and doing harm to you and others is when it turns into the narcissistic.
Yeah.
NPD. So
no, you didn't.
Yeah, so I'm going to, oh no, you didn't.
Okay.
But I'm gonna show your your little TikTok here.
Yeah.
So that's not how they all do, whatever.
Right.
This is a kind of over the top, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
Stupid, you dumb, you'll never be 90 state. I hate you.
I just been going through so much and I'm depressed.
Oh my God.
I saw those news in your phone too.
Accuse me of cheating again and I'm driving both of us into the Pacific Ocean. Hell no, with that outfit you're done. No, you're not going nowhere. No. Both of us going down. It's over. I be telling these hoes the truth, but I lie to you because I care about your feelings. Share your location with me.
Why? I'm right here.
See, I knew you was cheating on me.
Hell no.
Yeah, I like to cuddle.
Okay, and I like money. You want a cookie? So? Think about it. I gotta cheat on you to find out if I'm really in love with you, right?
What?
I'm sorry, I love you.
No, you don't.
You ain't gonna never meet nobody like me, ever. This damn phone got your smile on your phone. I need a password on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. Don't leave me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This not working out.
You ain't going nowhere. Stupid, you dumb, you'll never be 90 state. I hate you.
I just been going through so much and I'm depressed.
But yeah, some of that is, I mean, it's true. I mean, to some degree,
Yeah, and then when they're raging like that, you can't. It's hard to get a word in edgewise. You have to all kind of raise your voice at them and interject in order, to even get something in because they're so over the top and loud, and then they're gonna gaslight you and accuse you of, being loud or yelling or whatever and stuff. Like this, it's just a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to this.
It's a lot.
So but anyway, let's
my final thoughts are basically like a summary of what you said, because like I know you like really watched a lot of videos and done a lot of research about it.
And I talked to my therapist.
Yeah, you talked to your therapist, so
my therapist helps me a lot.
And that's good.
With this. And then y'all, my friends, I haven't told a lot of people, about any of my relationships. I don't go out and just talk about them like that. And stuff, like that. But I confided in
it helps.
There's like about three people who I, my friends, who I've confided in, and I told my mother and my sister. But I haven't told anybody else. So
we have a village.
but just and then just researching and then listening to other people's stories, listening, talking to actual narcissists who are actually in therapy and still married, and and they work on it, and listening to their wife, what they went, going through it, and then what they do to, when he's acting out and doing stuff, like that, and they're in therapy and stuff, just listening to, to him, and he speaks the truth and stuff, and then just listening to, and then listening to my month when I go to my monthly therapy, which is actually tomorrow, but
that's good.
But
that's good final thoughts too. Therapy workshop, and just to talk it out and have a village, like you say, your friends, your mother, your sister.
Yeah, but you go ahead, sir.
Basically, it's the same thing. I just looked up some things that would kind of give you indications that you may be dealing with a narcissist. And I know there's definitions for all this, but I'm not going to be able to do that. I just want to just reiterate some of the things we've already said. Like when you're dealing with someone like this, they're going to do the love bombing, which that can be tricky because who doesn't want to be loved? But like you said, there's always something with that, right? With the love bombing. When they show a lack of appreciation, the boundary crossing, the lack of communication, the unwillingness to compromise, the gaslighting, the inconsistency, the put downs, the controlling behavior, the when they try to alienate you from people or your family. You're like, we saw in these videos, and you guys should watch the video if you're interested in it to get more detail. I think we may have spoiled a little bit for those that didn't, but still go watch it if you're interested. The excessive lying, the jealousy, the lack of trust. It can even get to abuse. And abuse comes in a lot of forms. It could be physical, mental, verbal, and then the hot and cold behavior. I know you mentioned that, one day it's all good, and then now it's like silent treatment or whatever.
Right.
And then, just the red flags, which, all red flags aren't bad. They just give you something to, look at, like an indication, they give you something about that person that maybe needs to be worked on, but I can deal with it. It's not a big thing. It's not detrimental to the relationship, but always, notice those. And I would advise you guys to just Google red flags, because maybe you may not be aware of some of them. Because that's basically what I did. I won't list all those, but just Google red flags. It just give you an indication of what red flags could be. And then I think, just to sum it all up, especially with this video series that Reesa Teesa put out, is what I got out of it is to, take things slow. Don't be in a rush to get in a relationship. I know we're made for love. We're made for companionship, but don't rush it. Like she said, there was one thing she said, something about I would have rather, did all this research before than to have to, go through this and end up in divorce and all that. So when you see these things, question them. Don't just let them slide. I know, because your heart is invested in, your feelings or even your goals or what you want in a relationship. They may seem to overpower what's really going on, but you have to stop and take a break and question these things. Why is this person behaving this way? So take your time in these relationships. Give it time, because I really think they went too fast. I mean, you dated in March, and then in April, you're already living together and, looking for a house by June. And then, you get married, so quickly without even telling friends, the family. They didn't even know. You didn't even consider getting some type of counseling or whatever. So I would just, take things slow and don't be afraid to ask those questions. If they get, like you say, sometimes when you ask the questions, they don't like that, right?
They don't like you.
that.
They don't like you asking questions or challenging them, or they can tell you something and then you can, ask the question or just comment on it or something, and it'll set them off into a rage.
That's a red flag.
So you learn to sit there and just be quiet, because you don't want to. It's like, what am I doing?
Right.
What am I doing wrong? Or what did I say wrong?
Right. You question yourself.
Right. Because with a normal relationship or a person, you would say that to them, and then you'll have a discussion, or why, or give answers, or go back and forth with debate or whatever and stuff. But not in these type of relationships. You just say something, and it sets them off, and then you're not being supported, or all of this other types. It's just the weirdest dynamic, And I've dated, I have dated and know the difference, just dating, of what I've dated and recognized those signs right off.
Right.
As that's a narcissist.
Right.
I recognize it, like, something's not right, and you might date them for a while and it's like, I can't date you no more.
Right.
You get out of it and stuff, like that. And you do that with most of the times when you're dating, you date and you start recognizing these signs. But every now and then, with me, it seems like I overlook the sign, and then I end up into the relationship and falling in love with that person, or whatever. Because usually I'm strong enough and I can recognize that stuff.
Right.
I don't get into it, and then the person might be wondering, well, why don't you want to date me and stuff?
Right.
Or so and so. And it's like, well, because this, but every now, if they're that, when they're that good and they can manipulate and lie, manipulate and do this and draw me in, then I end up getting into that, and then it's hard for me to get out, and my heart's in it then, and then I'm in the love and stuff, and then I get in there and get heartbroken, and then don't try to work it, I try to fix the relationship, but you can, I've learned now I can't help them, I can't fix the relationship, and for my own self, whatever, I gotta get out of it, stuff, as much as I don't want to, and then sometimes you find yourself being drawn back in, and you miss them, and then you're looking at the good parts and stuff, but it's just hard. You gotta get out of it, whatever, unless they're gonna go to therapy and y'all going to therapy together and we're going separate and stuff, then we maybe that can work, but otherwise it's but you can heal from them. You just got to give yourself the time, and the time to heal, and then eventually you start getting back to yourself.
And when you recognize the signs, and when you also recognize that it's nothing you did, for the most part. I mean, like we said in this video, there was faults on both places or whatever, but no one deserves to be in a relationship with a liar like this or whatever. And like I said, I think we both said on the dating video, is that you have to define what a relationship is to you. So go into relationships, like I said, asking the questions, and also knowing what it means to you, because it may come to a time where you have to walk away like, I can't do this or whatever, and don't ignore the red flags when they're there, and be able to be in a relationship where you can question the person and they not set off on you, rage or whatever, because that's a sign too. So that's basically, I mean, from the videos that we saw with all these parts or whatever, that's what I noticed, that, she should have, asked the question. She should have, I don't know, kind of recognize all this stuff. But like I said, I know it's hard, and I mean, I feel for her. I really do. I really do. But I know from just watching it, she did make some mistakes too. So hopefully this helps the next person to see, because like when I started watching, I was like, it is so clear that this is not wise. But I know how the heart can lead us at times, but never turn the heart off. Never, and it happens or whatever. So
it makes you, to me, it makes you not want to date anybody or get into another relationship. I know that when I say that's the hurt talking or whatever and stuff, and then I know I'll eventually probably go out there and get into another, start dating. I've already started, I mean, I started dating and stuff, like that. But I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't
forget.
I'm thinking about stuff, and I won't let them get that close to me right now.
And that's good.
You know, I have to have some discernment. You know what I'm saying, and think about, and then notice these red flags and see if these are the type that I can overlook, or these are going to be detrimental to me or whatever and stuff. So
it's good to have negotiables, but don't prejudge the person before they show you something.
Right.
And that can be hard when you've been.
It's hard when you've been in these type of relationships. So, and I know I'll get there and stuff, like that. And it's a slow thing, or whatever. But I know I have seen healthy dating. I've actually dated healthy and whatever. So but we get there.
Yeah.
We get there.
Like we said even yesterday, that every a breakup it's like a divorce. It's like a death. It's like a death. Divorce is like a death. A breakup is like a death. So you're gonna have that time of mourning, but eventually you come out of that, you learn from it or whatever, and life. It'll get better, you guys. So hopefully we learned something from her videos. We got something from our discussion here. And like we said, we're not experts. It's just our views, and I feel like you. I feel like there were mistakes on both parts. I'm human, so I feel empathy for her, and like the only part that I felt empathy for him is when I did. So the only part for me is I felt it when the family member said he's been like this his whole life, and I'm like, and I think she said a child, and it's like I felt bad. Like what caused it?
It starts in childhood. It's whatever trauma that happens in childhood. They grow up, and
that's not his fault.
No, but
so that's
but it's not. But just because that trauma, a lot of us have trauma stuff has happened to us, and we don't grow up into that.
Right.
Some do.
Right.
Which is the ones that are doing it, but some do. We don't all do that, and which means we ain't going out there deliberately trying to hurt somebody or do all of that type of stuff or whatever. Yeah. So he's that way now, and that'll be hard to correct. Yeah. Or whatever. But it's hard for me to have empathy for him because he's continually repeating the pattern of it's cyclical abuse. So but I do have empathy for her. But just like her, when I get into if I make the commitment with you to get into the relationship, just like she said, in my mind, I think it's going to be forever. I know some things aren't forever. I don't live in the fairy tale world. I believe she was living in the fairy tale world when she started thinking about the house, the picket fence, the children, the money. She was living in that fairy tale world. Well, fairy tales aren't real. They don't exist. I don't live in that world, or whatever. But I do, in my heart, think, in my mind, when I get into a relationship, in my mind, I think, okay, well, this one's going to be forever. I haven't been in that many, but but I do think, I want it to last, and I think that this is going to be my life partner, or whatever, and we'll die together. We'll die this, want to die first or whatever, but we'll take care of each other until that happens. And it's very disappointing to me when it doesn't happen that way. And I know a lot of relationships end and don't work out, or whatever. But in my mind, I'm like her. I think, okay, well, hopefully this one will be the one that lasts. Yeah. But anyway. But great comments, your great last points and stuff, like that. Everybody out there in TikTok chatter world,
we have to give names for our fans or whatever.
And then like, comment, share, subscribe to our channel. We'll get back with you with your comments. We'll get back with you, and when as they pop up, maybe in a day or two when we're in YouTube or whatever, we will get back with you.
Yes,
we like all your little balloons and hearts.
We love it.
And we appreciate you for watching us. Okay, Join us next Sunday at 6 p.m. with whatever we haven't decided on our topic, but
you'll know sometime throughout the week.
Yeah,
you'll know.
You know, looking at current events and what's trending or what's affecting the gay, the black, gay, lesbian, trans, bi, LMNOP community.
Right.
Straight, it all affects us all. So thank you.
Yes. Be safe out there, you guys.
Right. Bye.
Bye.